He faced a couple guys like that who kind of got into the Hall of Fame off their merits. As far as the competition being way tougher for Jordan, you have to understand that Jordan's championships are against a very, very old Showtime Lakers team. It was past their prime. Kareem was done. Magic was getting sick. James Worthy was done. Then they beat the Trailblazers, who had Clyde Drexler and who? Their second best player was Terry Porter.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Then they beat the Suns with Charles Barkley and, I don't know, Rex Chapman. So
yeah.
they weren't facing super teams. And then they come back and, they beat the Sonics with one Hall of Famer, Gary Payton, and Sean freaking Kemp. Come on.
And then argument I like a lot better.
And then you get Stockton and Malone. Stockton and Malone respectable, but like there's also no one else. You couldn't name a third person on that team if he didn't make that jumper over Brian Russell.
Hornacek.
Hornacek at that point was like him and Steve Kerr cancel each other out. They were the same player at that point. They were just a white guy who sat in the corner and knocked out.
Arguably Steve Kerr has more titles than Jordan does.
Right, exactly.
Not even arguable. He has more.
Does he?
So the argument. Yeah.
No, because Kerr wasn't there for the first three.
Spurs afterwards.
It's just like Robert Horry. It's guys that latched on to teams that got championships. And then the argument to get to the finals is harder. Like the Bulls in the early '90s. Yeah, they beat the Knicks, but the Knicks really didn't hit their stride until Jordan went to play baseball. The Bad Boy Pistons, again, by '92, the Bad Boy Pistons were a shell of their former selves. Rodman wasn't even on the team anymore. He was on the Spurs before he went to the Bulls. LeBron has had to face the Boston Three Party with Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. 3 more Hall of Famers that he's had to get through to get to the finals. Some really good Bulls team with an MVP in 2011, Derrick Rose, who we all agree, I think, would have been on the track to the Hall of Fame had he not got injured. He's had to face some really good Pacers teams when they had Paul George and Danny Granger and Roy Hibbert. Like, there's been some competition against LeBron to get to the finals. Let's not, just act like he's coasted through. He has more recently, like with the Cavs in the second run, there really has been a lot of competition, but 2003, 2004, 2005, you still had that Pistons team with Chauncey and those guys. They were tough to beat. So he's had some really tough competition. Let's not. I don't want to just say that LeBron's been given a free pass to those 9 straight finals. It's not like he hasn't worked for it. Yeah, some years he's had Dwayne Wade on his team and Chris Bosh, fellow Hall of Famers, and then some years the second best player was Anderson Varejao or Zydrunas Ilgauskas. And he still got that team to a finals. So let's not forget that.
You're right.
With all that being said, MJ wins this category because he's more than just a basketball. He's a brand. The Jordan brand is a legacy that's never going away. That's everywhere. And LeBron has some business ventures, some smaller ones, but he has nothing close to what the Jordan brand will ever be. And that comes from not only Jordan being a great player, but just being iconic. He's just iconic. And maybe that's a byproduct of when he played, and there weren't a lot of other guys, I guess, who had the personality or the presence to kind of rival him for that spot. I mean, I love Reggie Miller. He was great, but he wasn't marketable. Patrick Ewing wasn't marketable. Some of those other really...
That's a solid argument. I actually appreciate that.
Until Shaq got in the league, there really wasn't anyone who rivaled Jordan as far as being the face of the NBA. Whereas with LeBron, Dwayne Wade was right up there with him for a while. The early years, Carmelo Anthony, he's had to deal with Steph Curry and that whole surge. Kevin Durant and all these other guys that could rival him for the face of the league, which has kind of halted his status as being the face of the NBA. There's so many faces of the NBA right now. You can make the argument a year and a half ago that Kawhi Leonard was the face of the NBA with everything he was doing.
Yeah, you're right.
Jordan being the unabashed face of the league and being iconic like that is why he should win this argument.
All right, and really quickly, I want to hear from Dan Beebe, then we'll give our picks, and we got to take a first break, okay? Dan Beebe, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. That's the thing. Basically after winning both sides of that, I was originally going to give the edge to LeBron, but, just for the Scott's argument right there with the whole Jordan brand, I mean, I think that's really what would put him over. I mean, he's kind of proven he's a little bit more well-rounded. He's played baseball. And just the endorsements he's racked up over the years.
Okay.
I really don't think you can argue that there isn't way more, known than Michael Jordan's image. So.
Okay.
Yeah, go MJ.
All right. So is that a clean sweep for Michael Jordan?
I
I'm taking MJ.
I think you have to.
Yeah, I think MJ still gets the edge. I don't, maybe LeBron can take it as he continues in his career, but right now I think it's MJ.
All right. So that ends the first matchup, LeBron versus Jordan. I promise I don't think the rest of them are going to be as heated or debated as this one. We're going to take our first break, and when we get back, we're going to continue on with our GOAT of GOATs bracket. You're listening to Dan D'Antoni. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Dan D'Antoni Sports. Wow, what a first segment. We debated LeBron James versus Michael Jordan for nearly 40 minutes. Oh, man. But Michael Jordan eventually did move on. Like I said, the rest probably won't take as long to discuss. Maybe one other will be slightly long, but I don't see it taking too long. But that was our one and only basketball matchup. Michael Jordan moves on. Now we move into the first of our two football matchups. The first matchup is quarterback Tom Brady, and his opponent is linebacker Lawrence Taylor. Tom Brady, one of the most decorated offensive players, one of the most decorated football players of all time, commonly thought of in our day as the greatest player of all time, versus the most dominant defensive player that I think anyone has ever watched play football, Lawrence Taylor. All right.
I don't really feel like I should be part of this conversation.
I mean,
Your thoughts are the ones I want to hear the most, Tony.
so
Fuck Tom Brady. Half of his legacy is based on cheating.
Agreed.
So, right there's going to be an asterisk for me.
try and be as objective as possible, but still, give Tom Brady all the shit you can. I like it.
Okay, alright, well, let's start with the fact that he wasn't an actual fucking first starter at fucking Michigan, a shit fucking school that apparently thinks they're good at playing football, and then he gets into the NFL, drafted late, gets an advantage from somebody getting a fucking injury, gets put into a situation with Bill Belichick, who somehow, as long as he follows the plan, is actually fucking successful, even though he puts a bunch of fucking turrets around him. Okay? It's a product of a fucking system and following the rules. And then on top of that, if the rules don't work, then we're going to cheat. Lawrence Taylor is pure fucking talent and fucking just literally changed the game to making everyone realize that a blindside guard is super fucking important. Fuck Tom Brady. No.
Also ruined the I formation.
Yeah. Thank you. You're absolutely right. That's true too.
No one uses it anymore. The I formation was huge before LT just terrorized the league.
In all fairness, the I formation also doesn't work well because the evolution of defense is not just Lawrence Taylor. Defensive linemen are quicker, defensive ends are quicker, safeties and corners are better tacklers. So the speed and the spread really made the fullback an unnecessary position to play more than 1, 2, 3, 4 times a game.
Right. But furthermore, LT did what he did with a Giants team that could have been better across the board. Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft, to a sense, built teams that were decently solid in other aspects. They gave Brady wide receivers. They gave him tight ends for days, sometimes murderers.
Killer tight ends.
Literally. And on top of that, they gave him running backs. They brought in LeGarrette Blount when nobody wanted that motherfucker, knowing that he was going to get into the end zone. Okay, so Brady is more a product of a scheme. Lawrence Taylor, to me, created the scheme.
Okay. Full disclosure, I did my own bracket. I think Lawrence Taylor is currently the best player in NFL history. And I think within the next 5 years, my opinion on that will change with Aaron Donald.
Interesting. I don't even want Tom Brady to be in this top two. And obviously bias. I'm a Jets fan. But that's not even why. Yes, he's won a lot. He's one of the winningest, and we can't discount that. But we were just talking about dominance, and when you look at Brady's stats versus other top QBs right now, he's really not that dominant. He's up against like Drew Brees and Peyton Manning, and they're all around the same amount of touchdowns. I think Brees still has more yards in passing and a better QBR.
He takes a lot less knees.
That's true. But yeah, Brady's also been surrounded by some really good things, like Bill Belichick.
He's also been surrounded by some real shit when his best wide receiver was Wes Welker.
I mean, that's fair, but when his defense gets him the ball that amount of times, there's something to be said about that. I think this conversation should have contained, possibly Jay Rice or
don't
Brown as far as
continue
dominance.
on. Don't continue on with that argument. It's like I said, it's our first of 2 football matchups.
All right.
One thing I want to bring up is to the point that Belichick made Brady is the fact that if anyone can name me a quarterback with a losing record under Belichick, I'd be happy to wait to hear it.
I mean, the other side of that argument is what has Belichick done without Brady? You can't say one without the other. So I'm really excited for this season to kind of put that to bed, hopefully.
Well, he was successful and just missed out on the playoffs.
He always produces winning quarterbacks.
So what has Belichick done without Tom Brady? The year Tom Brady got injured, they won 10 games with Matt Castle and barely missed out on the playoffs. And when Tom Brady was suspended for 4 games, they went 3-1 with Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo has proven that he's a very good
quarterback.
Has he? He looked like shit last year.